Basically, there's two types of women in Asia. There's the ones that speak English, and there's the ones that don't. I learned, like, the first month in Japan, I thought, okay, I talked to some guys that were there for a long time, and they all said the same thing. The good girls don't speak English. And I started studying Japanese like crazy. I mean, I was already interested, but I really went down, hard. And I never dated those girls that that spoke English. It was like there's a certain type. It really is clear. I mean, there's girls that speak English that are not the type I'm talking about, but the genre is so real that it's better to think that way. There's the rare exception, but there's always I could go into the details on why those ones do, but the type that speak English, they're losers. They can't maintain a relationship. They're very angry, they're unhappy, they're unwanted. And so they go for foreigners. And they feel like foreigners have lower standards. And so they kind of they never feel happy with foreigners. They never feel loved. Because they know that they're just doing this just because they can't get anything else. So they really they look down on foreigners too. These types. Believe it or not, the worst ones, they look down the most. And there's totally different types of girls in Asia. But it's because you don't speak the language. Once you speak the language, you can weed out. These types here, I never had this type. I mean, I know it's a different time and everything, but it was the same game back then. You had these girls who, they were just they would go to these, back then that type would go to these things called, what were they called? International parties. And then at an international party, they would, guys would go because it was free for men, and then the women had to pay 5,000 yen. And I never went to one of those, even though I knew, my friends would go to those and get laid on the way home, every time. And I knew it was pretty good because some of the girls were not bad, but I fucking never went. I didn't go to one international party. And believe me, they were huge back then. Everybody went. I just thought, no, I do not want the easy ones. I do not want these. And also, too, I started to see the girlfriends my friends had, and I realized they were all this type. They were women that weren't choosing the guys, and they didn't have good self-esteem on their own. What else was wrong with them? They tended to be not very pretty, also. They tended to not smile as much, giggle as much. They tended to be older, too. A lot of them were 30. A lot of them were, because in Japan, 26 was Christmas cake, right? That was old. So, the day after Christmas, right? So, 26, they were generally 26 to maybe late 30s, right? Back then they had some class. They wouldn't even try to date after 40 because they knew it was over, right? So, but now you don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, no, I think I hear a lot of cynicism in this chat here in this group, and I think it's not. I think it's important to look at yourself. How fluent are you in the language, and what quality of girls are you actually getting? And where are you meeting these girls? Because if you're meeting them, if you're speaking English, right, and you're meeting them in those circumstances, where, yeah, you're just basically getting the scraps, right, and then complaining about it. I don't think that's smart. I think it's important to say, wait, what the fuck am I doing? Am I getting what am I doing? What does my gut look like? What do I look like? What is my clothes? What have I done? How much have I learned how to meet the quality ones, right? And how much time have I put into myself, right? Because these other ones, you don't have to do shit for these ones. You can have a fucking, you can have a Metallica shirt from 1981, and it's fine, right? Because they're just looking for a foreigner, right? But I think it's important to leave. I'm not saying this is one person. I'm just saying this is a general rule for every single man, is you have to look at yourself sometimes. And if you're getting cynical, it's very easy to be cynical. It's very easy. You can be cynical and people will agree with you. But meanwhile, other guys will be doing better and they won't share in that. I mean, they'll be frustrated. Times are changing. There's no doubt about it. Times are changing. Everything we talk about is real. But I'm talking about something different. I'm talking about a giving up, a giving up and kind of like blaming it on the girls. I think get ripped, get fluent in the language, find out where the best girls are, and find some of those girls. Like, that's like a very bare minimum. And then rethink this whole thing and watch the guys that aren't doing that and wonder, like, am I glad I did this or am I not glad? Because you're probably going to be glad. You're going to be like, fuck yeah, I got woken up. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we need to be fucking woken up. And it's not good. Guys are always cheering each other on. Like, girls do that. They're always like, hey, go girl, and like agree with everything. I think if you're getting that response, I doubt that's from a girl you met pickup. Like let's say at a wedding, a Japanese wedding or Asian wedding, or at a high-end event or anything. I would suspect that girl's from some kind of app where it's just like, bum, 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 that kind of thing, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm totally wrong. And if I am wrong, then the idea is for somebody else. But the idea is still true. We all can fall into that. And that's the same reason why I never moved outside of Tokyo. Because my friends always told me, outside Tokyo you get way more pussy, way better pussy. So this was a different problem. I could get quality girls outside Tokyo, higher quality than what I got. But, see, for me it wasn't all about the girls. It was about me. What was I doing with myself, right? And if I went outside Tokyo, I knew what was going to happen. I was going to get an awesome hot girl. Like I had friends who were total dorks, getting super hot girls, right? And quality too, outside Tokyo. But then they never changed, right? So they would be like total, like they would never improve their game. And then of course they look worse and worse, and then of course the marriage or whatever doesn't go that great most of the time. But in the end of the day, they got to live with themselves. Put yourself into the fucking meat grinder. Look at yourself hard. Really hard. Take your clothes off, get in the mirror, look at yourself. What the fuck have you done in the last month? How many times have you sprinted full speed? You know what I mean? How many times? How much lifting have you done? Right? How hard have you studied a language? How much have you done in the last month on yourself that is really paying off, that you feel good about, right? And if there's not a lot there should be something like awesome in the last week. You know what I mean? But if there's nothing there in a month, then I would say, like it's really important, because the thing is you're fishing, being here in Asia, you're fishing in the best waters. Okay, there is no better, there's no other place you can go. If you can't make it here, it's like that New York song, you know what I mean? If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's the opposite. If you can't make it here, you can't make it anywhere. So I think that we all age, we get less attractive. There's no question. I'm like 1/100th of what I was. I mean, there's just because of my age. When I was in my 20s, 40 years ago, right? And that's just the way it is. I can accept that, Part of it's aging, right? But there's also something else, man. There's a fucking going for it. Like I'm standing by the pool right now. I'm going to jump in the pool and swim. It's early morning. I'm going to swim. And I'm going to lose a little bit of fat that I noticed recently. Like a little bit of dad bod coming on, right? I'm like, fuck that. Fuck that. Right? I've got the muscles, but I have a little bit of dad bod in the stomach. I'm like, no fucking way. I'm not going to ignore this. I'm looking at myself right now in the mirror, just going, fuck, gotta lose a few, you know what I mean? That fat, fuck that fat. And fuck ignoring it too. You know what I mean? I want to be six pack all the fucking time, period. There's no excuse for me, And that's the way I think about it. And even if like it doesn't translate, because I know there's different levels of guys have different skills, right? Some guys are math guys, they're not good at meeting women, right? It doesn't matter. Bottom line, for me, it was never about the women. I used the women to motivate me to kick ass. And I didn't care. I remember, I had a fucking pink shirt, right? And it was a see-through pink shirt I got in Shibuya. And it looked total flame. Like it was so flaming, this shirt. But it was cool. I thought it was fucking cool because it's a good color on me. It was handmade. It was very expensive. And I just thought it looked good on me. I just thought, fuck it. And then people would come up to me and say, chicks, like flamers like that shirt. And you know what? I fucking never gave a fuck. I wore that shirt as much as I wanted to, which wasn't very often because it wasn't like a shirt you wear every day. But I wore that. I enjoyed that. And the same thing with, like, I used to wear muscle shirts because I was like lifting real heavy. And everybody told me, and I knew that it wasn't very attractive to Japanese women. Like, they like a slim, fit, healthy body, right? They don't want the muscular. But the bottom line, although I got in shape for them, once I got there, I realized I don't give a fuck about them. I'm doing it for me. And I want to just go on any path that I'm interested in. And I'm just going to go down that fucking path. And that's the end of the fucking story. Like, it doesn't matter if somebody likes it or doesn't like it. At this level, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care. And I think that it turns around. So you do something to get something. Then you get it, and then you realize there's more to life. It's a path. It's a journey. And then you realize there's more to life. So then you start doing something that's not attractive to that person or not getting what you thought you were going to get. And then you say, oh shit, why am I doing this? Because you get confused. Because you need different motivations as you go up as you go on this journey, right? It's okay. Everything's okay, right? And then I say, well, wait a second. Like, it's not even that, girls are not even that important. I love doing this. Like, I want to see how far I can push my muscles. This is back then. And I'm going to fucking go for it, right? I didn't do anything, steroids or anything, but I just, as a free natural bodybuilder, I fucking went for it for a while. And I wore muscle shirts because I wanted to show and I wanted to motivate myself when I look at myself and say, you got to nail your shoulders or whatever, right? And I knew that it wasn't attractive. But here's the funny thing. And it wasn't attractive. Okay, I'm not kidding. Like, girls didn't like it. And they didn't like my pink shirt either because they thought it was a Playboy. But at the bottom line, I am satisfied with my journey and myself. And in the end, I choose what I really want to do at the time. It changes, but I choose, hey, this is what I want. And I fucking do it. And again, I'm motivated by the girls. I mean, it's not like I'm not like totally separate. But you can see the kind of shifting as I go. I'm shifting. It's almost like rock climbing, where you're just putting your weight on a new rock. It's like I'm using that motivation. Now I'm switching to this. Now I'm using 2, right? Now I'm going to 1, and now I'm on top, right? Where I want to be. That's the bottom line. But you got to look at yourself. Don't get cynical. If you're getting cynical, there's something fucking wrong, man. Like, period. Like, you should not be cynical about life. Life is fucking totally awesome. And chicks, there's all kinds of chicks out there and guys having a good time. You know what I mean? Like, the cynical thing is the lazy thing. It is the lazy, it is the loser. Period. So let it go. Everybody has it in them, but if you follow the path of the cynic, it's very easy backbiting on everybody. Everybody's this, everybody's that. It's very easy, and people will agree, and you will find yourself only surrounded by people like that. Because other people, they see what it is, and they're like, oh, that's the cynical route. The nihilism, the cynical. And they're like, yeah, I agree, it's true, that part is true, but you know what? I don't want to be what that person's becoming. The other people can see it. So eventually, you lose the optimistic friends that are going for it. The people that are starting companies, the people that are fucking working at the gym, the people that are doing the wind sprints. You know what I mean? These are all metaphors for going for it, right? Whatever it is they're going for. And eventually, you end up with a few older friends, and you can see this with old guys, people that choose this path. They end up with like 2 or 3 friends, and that's all they do is bitch about politics, bitch about their body, bitch about their wives, and it's just like, just look at the end result of the things you do, the mindset you have. Okay, there's nothing wrong with everything that motivates, that you, like the mistakes you make and the kind of like little paths we go on, right, that take us off where we're supposed to be. That's great, because then we learn why we did the other thing in the first place, right? So it teaches us. There's nothing embarrassing about this, and there's nothing bad about this. Everybody can be cynical. Everybody can be in that mood. And I think at our worst, we're tired, jet lagged, that's when we tend to go towards that end of ourselves, right? So I'm not saying it ever fully disappears or we fully become it, But at the end of the day, who we choose, how we see life, is going to send us in a certain direction. And here in Bangkok, you see a lot of old guys, and that's the path they chose. And it's too late, okay? It's too fucking late. These guys are in their 70s. It's too fucking late. There's still time for everybody on this chat. Everybody on the channel. There's time. There's fucking time. I have a friend who, he turned around like 2 years before he died. I don't know how old he was. He was very old. And he met me, and we just fucking, I helped him, and he fucking just, he totally turned his life around, and he passed away like 2 years after that. And I never saw a guy more grateful for the change. I swear to God, he was every day beaming, that guy. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. He was so happy. He had a bounce in his step. And every time he met me, he had such a huge smile. And he's just like, I had a great day today. You know, I looked out the window and I saw, like, he was a totally different person for the last 2 years of his life. And everybody, we all were like amazed. I met him in AA, but everybody was looking at him like, wow, that's fucking amazing. He inspired me. He inspired everybody. But it was like, he always came up to me. He's like, you're the one, you know, you're the one that helped me to change my mindset. Because he'd been very rich, and then he lost everything. He lost everything. And, I mean, like, really rich. And then he was like, literally had nothing. And I could not believe, because sometimes I give up on people. They're just losers. It's never going to change, right? And other people, I think, well, maybe they have the energy to change. Like, maybe they have something inside of them that's going to get pissed off and is going to change, right? And that's what I look for, right? But with that guy, I mean, I told him what I told him just out of pure naivety, you know. But I never had seen anybody change. And when he did, it was like shocking to me, because I thought, could I do that at his age with what he had? Like, I don't know. He was a real inspiration. Like, he totally was an inspiration. Even to this day, like, talking about him, it's just like, wow, you can change at any fucking age. But the reason why I say it's too late is because a lot of guys, they let their bodies go down, then they don't have the energy, they got diabetes, they got this, they got that, and they let that go, so the energy is limited, so their ability to change is limited. So there's all these things, they don't stop you, but they lower the odds.